Hi, my name is Heather McConley, and I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about reading. My world was recently rocked when I listened to Emily Hanford's 6-episode podcast called Sold a Story. I highly recommend listening to it if you can. It is stunning. It's stunning. It's flabbergasting. I have never, or maybe almost never, been so mad in my entire life. You see, the problem is, teachers, about half of them in the United States, are not teaching children how to read, and it's not their fault. They actually have not been taught well themselves how to teach children how to read, and at this point it's going on 2 generations. So we're losing the capacity to teach children well how to read if we don't reclaim it really shortly. And so that's why I'm doing this video. My mission is to empower parents. If it happens to affect teachers, awesome. I'm so pleased. But my mission is to empower parents to help teach their own children, and caregivers and daycare workers and anybody else who comes into contact with kids under the age of about 7 or 8. So the first thing I want to talk about is something called phonemic awareness. And when teachers talk about literacy, they're talking about more than just sounding out words. They're talking about understanding words and understanding how words fit into a sentence and how sentences fit into a paragraph and how to make sense of everything and how to comprehend it. But you can't have literacy without the foundation, which is the actual physical ability of how to read. And that comes in with something called phonemic awareness and phonics. The sounds that letters make, or the sounds in the English language, are called phonemes. The sound in any language is called a phoneme. And so we can, for example, when we're talking about phonics, we can say that the letter R makes the sound right? That's a phoneme. Is a phoneme. Or we can say that N makes the sound N. That's a phoneme. N. And phonics is the practice of marrying the phoneme, the sound, with the letter. So N says N, and B says B. Okay, so that's another phoneme, is B. And the letter B is the one that makes it in English. Okay, the practice of phonemic awareness, understanding that there are sounds in the English language and that you can mix and match the sounds. So for example, you can have B, A, and R. See, I can't hold them up well, but you can have B, A, and R, and that says B, bar. Or you can have M-A-R, and that says M-R, mar. Okay, those are 2 different words. They mean 2 different things, but the practice of mixing and matching them is something that is developed in young children with phonics and phonemic awareness. And it's something that is unfortunately not taught well, not taught systematically by literally about half of the teachers. So that's the point of this video. Actually, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is just to give you an introduction. I want to just tell you a little bit about my own personal background before I do another video about teaching basic phonics. And so I learned to read when I was 2 years old. My mom says that she never taught me how to read. And then I watched her with my own kids, and I can say definitively that she may not have realized that that's what she was doing, but she certainly did teach me how to read. And so I was reading before I was 3 years old. And then when I was in kindergarten in a Montessori school, which is a private school here in America, I had teachers who were wonderful, and they said she might have missed something because she's reading on a 5th grade reading level. At that point I was, when I was 5 years old, but she might have missed something. So we're going to take her through a full phonics curriculum, and we are going to teach her which letters make which sounds, even though she probably already knows it, just to make sure that there aren't any holes. And they did that. And that was wonderful of them. And I have no idea whether I even had any holes at that point or not. Probably didn't. But the fact that they knew at that point in time that they needed to go through and systematically teach me phonics is something that has been lost. And so it's something that I want to share with you. In order to help your children with the very foundation of reading, before you get to comprehension, before you get to sentences and paragraphs and syntax and grammar and all those wonderful things that make up the English language, before you get there, you have to have phonics. You have to have phonemic awareness, the sense that letters make sounds, and the understanding of which letters make which sounds. That's phonics. And the practice of teaching that, I don't want it to be lost, and I want parents to be able to do it with their children. So if you have an older child who has missed it, it's time to go back and do that. And if you have a younger child who hasn't yet learned how to read, make sure you're going to do some of the things that I'm going to tell you about in my next video, because they're going to help you and they're going to help your child. And that's why I'm doing this, is so that you can help your kids. So I hope that that's a good introduction. And if you need it, I hope you go into my next video where I'm going to actually teach you some of the things that I did with my kids to help them learn to read before they were 4. I honestly did not teach them how to read, but I did do phonics with them. And some of the things that I'm going to show you are so easy. They're free or they're cheap. And they're easy to do, but if your child doesn't get them, they will be lost by the time they enter about 3rd grade. And so it's my hope and prayer that this is helpful for your family, and please let me know if it is. Thanks.